Now, in May 2022, President Cyril Ramaphosa launched Operation Vulindlela. It was aimed to address structural problems in the economy to help boost recovery. This week, the president launched phase two, but has it really achieved anything? Let's speak now to Dr. Azar Jammine of Econometrix. Dr. Jammine, thank you so much for joining us, and a very good evening to you. We saw the launch of phase 2 of Operation Vulindlela. How would you categorize the successes of phase 1?
I would say that they are mixed. We've seen some successes in certain areas. Certainly the reduction in load shedding, the incidence of load shedding is one of them. But we have not seen all that much success in some other key areas, the most notable of all being in transport and logistics, where we are still suffering from significant port bottlenecks and inefficiencies, and a singular failure really to get rail back to where it used to be as a primary vehicle through which to transport goods from our ports and harbors into the hinterland. And one of the other areas of Operation Vulindlela that has not succeeded as much as one would have liked has been the fight against crime and criminal syndicates, where there has been a little bit of success as well. On the positive side has been the opening up of bottlenecks in terms of access to visas by foreign workers in the country, foreign skilled workers. But again, you know, the nub of it, the proof of the pudding really lies in what has happened to gross fixed capital formation. In other words, capital investment. And that has been still extremely disappointing. Some will argue that it takes a long while for initiatives such as Operation Vulindlela to get to work. Others will say, but that proves that it has failed. So, you know, the jury is still out from that point of view.
Yeah, and as you're speaking about the proof of the pudding, when also it comes to matters of the economy as well, the matter of VAT obviously has been quite controversial, the matter of the budget that needs to be reworked and relooked at as well. What does that entail or signify to South Africans at large when we've got a phase 2 being launched, but then we've also got these big matters around small things like VAT as well?
Well, the whole thing of VAT is really a function of the fact that the economy is not growing fast enough to be able to generate the government revenues required to meet government's expenditure, especially on social projects such as the issuing of social grants and social relief for distressed grants, and also is not sufficient to keep pace with the demands of public servants for higher and higher wages. So that's what it speaks to. But then, you know, Operation Vulindlela doesn't really seek to address those issues specifically. It's more geared towards trying to work to improve service delivery so that we can get higher economic growth. The problem is that our economic growth rate has come down in every one of the last 3 years, from nearly 5% in 2021 to 1.9% in 2022, 0.7% in 2023, 0.6% in 2024. And the danger is that we could fall back still further in 2025. And it's in that regard that, you know, people are looking for a thing like Operation Vulindlela to fast track development and economic growth. But that requires investment, and it's not happening, as I mentioned, in part because criminal syndicates are making it very difficult for it to happen.
A part of this as well, the president has mentioned pumping more money into Operation Vulindlela as well. And if Operation Vulindlela does well, that will then also contribute in terms of economic reform in the country and have a trickle-down effect on the economy as well. Of course, also if we get our rails and our ports working well, that will also have a trickle-down effect on our economy. But if these things aren't working within Operation Vulindlela in itself, never mind the departments that are also entitled to be doing this work as well, then what's there to say in pumping even more money into this thing?
Quite clearly, it's not a case of needing more money. In fact, one of the issues of Operation Vulindlela and the presidency is that the private sector, certainly top CEOs in a variety of sectors, have been brought in to try and help fund and speed up Operation Vulindlela. And that's where, there has been only partial success for two reasons. In part because from within the Government of National Unity, to be more specific, within the ANC itself, any cooperation between government and the private sector is being opposed a lot, and that is stymieing the ability to really progress on some of these features. That's the one big stumbling block. The second is that we still have cadre deployment within a lot of the public service, especially your municipalities. In other words, people have been appointed to positions, to take decision-making positions, who are not qualified or competent enough to carry those functions through, because they've been appointed on the basis of loyalty to the ruling party. Well, it's no longer a ruling party, but those officials are still in place. And we haven't reformed the public service to have people in authority who are more capable than those currently in place. We see a classic example is the city of Johannesburg, where the country's leading city is going into secular decline all the time in terms of infrastructure and service delivery, because the capabilities and expertise within the municipality have been lost over the last decade or so.
And these are some problems that can be resolved without pumping in extra money as well. But I also want to talk to you, Doc, about what the president mentioned in terms of tackling apartheid spatial planning, which will be one of the key focuses for this second phase as well, saying that the structure of our cities has to change to enable people access to work. Now, this is something that politicians have been saying since the dawn of democracy. Do we really need Operation Vulindlela to come and help when it comes to the legacy of apartheid spatial planning?
Well, you're quite right to highlight that as a big constraint on economic growth. People are working so far from where they live, and it's a huge cost. And something has to be done to accelerate that. Again, you ask yourself, well, do you need Operation Vulindlela? Well, you need some process through which to try and address this. And there's one further legacy of apartheid that needs to be addressed and is not being addressed, and that is the lack of enough vibrant and resilient small business activity that we see in so many other emerging markets, providing jobs for millions and millions of people close to where they work, close to where they live. And we're not seeing that in South Africa, partly because legislation and regulations that have been introduced by government make it ever more difficult for small business to proliferate. And it goes hand in hand with spatial development, because you need people to be working close to where they live to actually help develop a vibrant small business sector that can employ hundreds of people around, relatives, friends, who live close by, and you get your business. Instead, what we've got are these massive shopping centers, office block shop, etc., and big retail stores, not enough fundamental small business activity.
Dr. Azar, Jammine, thank you so much for your time.